My mental health, sex, breastfeeding, and SIDS were some of my biggest pregnancy fears and anxieties. Turns out, I wasn't alone. A recent European study surveyed over 250 new moms and found that pregnancy fears often fall into these 5 categories. So, I'm going to talk through each of these worries with a personal example and stat. Share what helped me cope and reflect on what's changed now that I'm a mom. So, stay tuned. Let's start with baby health and safety, because this was definitely a big one for me, especially the fear of SIDS. In the beginning, I tried to ignore it, but the fear just stayed in the back of my mind and made me more anxious. Then I realized that my fear was actually telling me something. Prepare! So I read up upon sudden infant death syndrome and learned that the actual risk is really low. To mitigate it, I followed safe sleep practices, like laying my son, baby T, on his back, keeping the sleep area empty, using a firm mattress, and keeping this one out of his bed. When the worry would creep back in, I remind myself, we are prepared and I trust myself and my baby. I found this little mantra helped me handle all kinds of worries that came up. Next up, preparedness and capability. Would I be able to handle taking care of a baby on a daily basis, especially breastfeeding? To overcome those fears, I took over 60 hours of prenatal classes, and I was looking forward to breastfeeding. But I also feared it would mean giving up all of my time and flexibility. After baby T turned 2 months, I felt more confident with breastfeeding and started to build up a milk bank. And that helped me get a little bit of the me time back. So for instance, on mornings where I needed extra sleep or had the stamina to go on a run, there weren't that many, my partner would feed baby T pumped milk when they both woke up. Alternating morning shifts with my partner help us all feel more rested and balanced. If you'd like me to dive more into our breastfeeding routine or anything else parenting related, let me know in the comments below. And then there's mental health and emotional resilience fears. Mine had to do with sleep. I've never handled sleep deprivation well. I get super cranky. But the silver lining of me sleeping 6 very interrupted hours when baby T was a newborn was that the exhaustion was so intense that it actually cured my insomnia. I just hit the pillow and boom, I was out like a light. By the time baby T started sleeping longer stretches of time at 4 months, so did we. I was also anxious about postpartum depression, so I saw a psychologist once a month while I was pregnant. After my baby arrived, I went back to my therapist as needed. I also try to stay active because that helps. Even though actually planning anything, including walks and meditation, was a total challenge in those first months. Sometimes I'd even fall asleep mid-meditation, but the movement and mindfulness really helped keep my spirits up. Quick reminder, if you want more well-researched yet quick parenting tips like this, don't forget to subscribe to Raised by Intuition. And then there's the part we don't always talk about, intimacy in relationships. My partner was actually the one worried about it while I was pregnant. I'd already lined up pelvic floor therapy for my postpartum, mostly to prevent incontinence medium term, but it ended up being really helpful for intimacy too. Even so, it wasn't until I got my period back 11 months into postpartum that sex felt somewhat back to normal, which, as it turns out, it's super common. One study found that most couples experience change in intimacy after birth, and being able to communicate about it can make all the difference. For us, that open communication, along with the pelvic floor exercise, help us find a new pleasurable normal. And speaking of pressure, let's talk about social pressure fears. From day one, people would comment, "Poor baby's not wearing socks," or "You're not doing tummy time?" I'll be honest, at first I would get defensive and second guess myself even. But when I would find my calm, I would remind myself of the research and intuition that went behind our parenting decisions. Now I'm confident that I know my baby's needs. If it's a comment, I brush it off. If it's a question, I share my reasons, since people are often just curious. Instead of making me upset, these moments now make me proud of really the conscious decisions we've made to keep baby T healthy. So those were some of the biggest pregnancy fears I had and how I overcame them. If you're also worried about how you'll manage having a career and motherhood, you'll want to watch this video where I share 9 tips that help me find balance.